So let's talk for a second. I'm just going to skip the intro this time, just an Aridonis podcast. Let's talk for a second about how we have the same chair, microphone, and mouse for a sec.
This is my mouse I use on my my Mac there.
Yeah. I have mine hooked up. Yeah.
I mean, hey, good choices in equipment.
It seems like we know what we're doing, right? Or at least we're going the wrong way together.
True. That is true.
I'm here with Oliver, who is, I think you're the only member of OlliePop music, yeah?
Yeah, well, I make it all myself, and then I get a couple of my buddies to play with me live, so...
Nice.
How it goes.
Yeah, how long have you been doing that for?
Well, I started it... I've been making music since, like, 2018.
Right.
I've been playing music for a little longer than that. But yeah, with this kind of group, it's a newer group of people. Like, it's not the same as that I did before pre-COVID and all that.
Right.
Used to play a lot during, like, before COVID, and then that happened, and you take a break, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you try, and I look back on my like Instagram memories and stuff, and it's just like, oh yeah, remember when I tried to like run a concert from my fucking house? Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even attempt that because I knew that it would just be not good at all.
The thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had I got like a green screen, and I like picked up multiple cameras and like got a video switcher because I'm like, I guess this is how it is forever now. Yeah.
That's how it's got to be, right?
Yeah. And now I just have a lot of now a lot of that stuff is what I use to make this podcast because I need to justify the purchase.
I mean, hey, it's going towards something, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But well, that's awesome. And so I've been listening through your stuff, and it's got this cool like lo-fi kind of baked
honestly,
indie sound.
Not a huge fan of my old stuff,
right?
But I can't get rid of it. Because back in the day, I went through something called Root Note.
Okay.
And I have no idea what the email or password or anything is to get on there.
Right.
I cannot get it off of the internet. It is on there forever.
It's stuck on there like white on rice.
Hey,
yeah.
It shows where I started from, I guess.
Yeah, well, I was talking to somebody a couple of weeks back, an artist called Pink Shorts, who's like just starting out. He's like 18 years old, and is just like talking about like, oh yeah, I gotta get rid of all my old stuff. I'm like, no man, leave it. Like, catalog the journey, because like when you're like 35, 40 years old, that's when you're gonna be like, oh yeah, remember when I went through that phase? It's fun to like scrapbook.
Yeah, the old stuff's very, very lo-fi.
Right.
My newer stuff that's coming out is way more polished. Like I'm actually doing that in like a studio stuff. Well, not fully studio. Like I'll do all the demos and then send them to my buddy, and we go record drums, and then he mixes them for me.
Nice. Yeah.
So it's a lot more polished.
What's is it sort of a similar songwriting style or flavor, or are you kind of just starting from scratch in that sense?
In that sense, it's still kind of the same. Like my influences are still kind of the same, right? Mm-hmm. And how I'm making it, how I'm starting out my Logic project file, right?
Yeah.
Other than that, though, it's just improvements from what I've learned over the years, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So what's your what's your experience been like, sort of being a musician in and around the Vancouver area?
It's a great scene to be in. Like if you're playing all the shows downtown, doing that. Like I play a lot with like in other bands, not just in my own stuff.
Okay.
Like I've been playing a lot with Avery Sloan.
Okay.
Her music's great.
Cool.
Like we've been playing pretty much like 2 shows a month for like the last bit since COVID came or went away.
Yeah.
But everyone's very welcoming down there.
Yeah. Yeah. And do you find you playing a lot of the same venues and having a pretty consistent turnout with that, or do you find it's kind of all over the place? Or
like there's the odd show that's like, not many people show up.
Always,
but right, that always happens.
Yeah.
But the venues are great. Like we've been playing at Redgate a lot.
Yeah.
That's a great venue.
Yeah, that's the recurring theme when I talk to everybody. It's like, oh yeah, we just we play Redgate, once a month, and then yeah,
they're booked up till November.
Yeah. No, I was looking to book something there, and that was it. Yeah, it was like November was the earliest we could do it.
Yeah, I somehow managed to get a date for October 14th.
Cool. Yeah.
So that's a ways away though. But
Yeah. I mean, I think my only like Aridonis show that I'm doing, because I've been doing a lot of like session drumming and stuff like that for people, is going to be October 15th. And it's so like right now I'm like, yeah, this is great, but
it's a long way.
It's a long ways away to like, I'm like, hopefully I have enough time to get good,
Hopefully.
Yeah. So what sort of influences are you taking coming into this new stuff?
No, a lot of hers is kind of what I've been listening to a lot more. I kind of didn't listen to him for a while because it made me too sad to listen to him. And then I recently rediscovered, their music, and that's kind of sparked a write-in drive for me, I guess. I don't know.
It's weird how you go through phases with stuff like that, where you just like, I mean, I go through like, I'll once I like something, then I will just like, mine it dry, and just like listen to it for like, there's days where I'll listen to like one song for a day. And then by the time that's all, over with, then I'm just like, I hate this now, like too much. And then I'll give it a few months and then I'll be back on it.
I find I've been listening to a lot of my Discover Weekly playlists on Spotify. Which I don't know if that's really a good thing, because it's like I listen to that once a week, pick out the songs that I like, and then just buy to the other ones. Yet they're good songs, right?
It's an interesting. It creates an interesting sort of headspace for me, because I'll go through and be like, oh, this is kind of cool, but then not really put the effort into learning what it is or where it came from all the time. And then once it's gone and I think about it, it's gone. And so it'd be cool if you could go back through your Discover Weeklies, like if it kept a catalog, like week to
saved
week.
It.
Yeah, because then I'd
like call out Spotify.
There's plenty to call out Spotify for.
100%.
But that's one feature that I would appreciate. But I mean, I'm sort of diverging a little bit from Spotify just because it feels weird supporting them, knowing how much we all kind of hate them a little. Yeah,
it's a battle that I don't think is winnable.
No, and that's,
we gotta try.
It's just like my theme when it comes to like big companies and stuff like that, and dealing with social issues is just like, if I can't actively improve it, I just don't want to participate in it. So I'm trying to like get away from Spotify, and I went over to YouTube Music because they pay a little bit better and then give you YouTube ad free, and then the YouTube creators I watch also get paid a little bit out of that. So there's that's at least feels like I'm doing slightly more
True,
with my $10 a month, because that's what it comes down to ultimately, is where is your $10 gonna go every month?
Like plays per song, like they're how much you're making per song. Like obviously that needs to go up a little bit. Or a lot. But
it's just like, how do you bill for that? How do you? Yeah, it's like, other than doing it like a hydro bill, where it's like, you listen to this song 1,000 times this month, so we're just gonna charge you that much. Like, that's scary. That's a scary thing, and we've already opened the Pandora's box.
Don't want to go down that route.
Yeah. So, so what's how soon are we going to hear more stuff from you?
I've got a new track that's being mixed right now.
Cool.
Hoping to release that mid to late August.
Sweet.
Looking more late August right now.
Right.
And I've got an EP coming out. I'm setting that for the week before the October show.
Right.
Just so I have like a release party for that. I think that would be pretty cool.
Awesome.
That's gonna be fun.
What's the EP going to be called? Are we allowed to know?
Oh yeah. I'll tell you the master plan. The master plan.
Yeah, give me the whole breakdown. Yeah.
All right. So this one's going to be titled Act 1.
Oh,
right?
Sneaky.
I've had this cover art done for years. I just haven't used anything used it for anything.
Cool.
So it's going to be, the first one is a 4-song EP.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to release 2 singles, release the other 2 as the EP, right? Going to do the same thing with Act 2, right? Another 4-song EP, and then I'm going to combine it together with like 6 more tracks for like a 14-song album and call it The Show.
Oh.
So, yeah,
sneaky.
That's the plan.
Yeah, I like that. So how'd you sort of do they sort of follow like a theme? In like, is it like, are you thinking like like a TV show or a movie where there's like acts or?
Yeah, well, the idea behind it is more of like a kind of like a play scenario, musical scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, the songs, they aren't so fluid with each other that it's like a concept album.
Right.
Like I'm not gonna shoot for a concept album because I'm not that.
Yeah.
Not that. I don't know the word for it, but you know.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it's gonna be one complete project. It's gonna release throughout. That way, I have something new coming out. Right. Every once in a while, right? Rather than waiting for a year to release the whole thing, right?
Yeah, I know the feeling of putting something out and going like, oh crap, like I've talked about this for a couple of months and now, now what?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the plan for like the next little bit at least.
Right. So do you have are you taking that sort of aesthetic because you've got like experience with like, musical theater or
a little bit. Like the cover arts for it are like a stage musical like happening, that's as much as I'll really say for it.
Okay. Yeah. Don't want to give too much away.
Yeah, so like that's kind of the premise of it. I did do musical theater back in school and all that. So yeah. Kind of influenced that a bit.
Nice. Yeah. And then do you have a particular approach when it comes to releasing things? Like do you like to like have everything together, or do you like put it out and then go, okay, time to make a video and then put that out and kind of do it sequentially, or do you do like a big are you planning like a big like 2-year like rollout? Yeah,
well, it won't be like a big 2-year rollout.
Yeah.
Right. I'm hoping to have kind of the whole project done by the end of the year or early 2023, that kind of timeline. I like to set dates though, because I am terrible at finishing things.
Right. Aren't we all?
Yeah. If I have a deadline, then like, at least I can shoot for that deadline, right?
Try to finish it. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm recording all the demos for Act 2 right now. I've got everything done for Act 1, just in the mixing and mastering phase though.
Nice.
Video wise, I'm working with some of my buddies that did a music video for me like 2 years ago.
Right.
On doing those videos for when the EP comes out.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's your like writing process like when you're like, okay, I'm gonna make an EP and and then another EP and then an album? Did you have all those songs written already, or were you sitting down and going, I want to fill out these sort of blanks and then just start writing songs?
Kind of like the blanks, but I've been sitting on so many like just random instrumentals that I've made over the years that I really like that I haven't put towards anything. Mm-hmm. So I'll kind of shift through, pick out ones that I like, and think that they'll fit like, the vibe or whatever of the project. Right.
Right.
And then kind of build off that.
Sweet. So then so how often do you find yourself like, are you a sit down and like start working on a track just like when you get home from work, whenever you like looking to unwind? Is that like your just go-to hobby, or is it more of a like coping mechanism? Because I find those are the two sorts of people I talk to the most. There's the people that are like write when something horrible happens, and write just for fun.
It's like, I don't know, I'd say it's a mix between both. Like some days I do not want to, like I'm not in the mindset to like actually sit down and try to produce something that I know won't turn out well because I'm not doing mentally well or something like that, right? But like most of the times I do find I come home from work, sit down, work on some stuff, and then, do my thing.
Nice. Yeah. Because you clearly have a whole creative setup.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of forces me to use it, right?
Yeah. When it's sitting right there, and you're like, I have the same thing where I've got all my guitars back there, and I'll just be like, if I'm playing video games, and then I look over my shoulder, and they're all just guiltily staring at me. I'm like, oh shit, I'm neglecting the girls.
Yeah.
So, well, that's awesome. And so, like, do you find your writing process? Because this always interests me. It's so you tend to start with like an instrumental first before you start writing lyrics, or
yeah, I'm not the best at writing lyrics, I don't think.
Okay.
I always get stuck on one-liners,
right,
and can never finish.
Yeah, like
a
come
song,
up the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So like I find I always start with instrumentals. I mean, occasionally I'll start with the lyrics and all that, but. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's I mean, mainly start with instrumentals and go from there.
Right. So so do you find you're usually working from finished instrumentals? Like you'll sit down and have like a whole like 3.5 minute song done with just like a karaoke thing, and then you're just like, now I gotta write some words. Or
I'll have like a melody in mind and all that.
Right.
But I also do find that whenever I'm recording, like for Drugstore, the last one that I released, I went through probably 5 different versions of lyrics for that song.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So it's just constantly going back and forth, being like, oh, I don't like this, let's switch it to this melody, to this, and I'm like, okay, I like that now.
Yeah. So you're iterating constantly.
Yeah. Sometimes like I'll have the chorus done before I've done the verses. Yeah.
Well,
but
so do you find the process for you, like, do you find you just like crank out an instrumental really quickly and then get stuck on the words, or do you sometimes find that you just like are out of ideas and you're just like trying to get past a 4-bar loop?
Yeah, sometimes I'm trying to get past a 4-bar loop because you're like, where can this go? Yeah, like how do I build from this, right?
Yeah.
I've got quite a bit of 4-bar loops.
Yeah, I think everybody does. Yeah. I'm sort of a serial looper in the sense that it's just like I will get like 8 or 16 bars, and then like you say, I don't know where to go from here. I don't know because I'm just fucking around. So so that I'll get to the point where I'm just like, I don't know how to make this any longer. I don't really know what kind of vibe I want. Like if I sit down with an intention, I find it a lot easier to finish stuff, but otherwise it's just like cranking it out that way. It'll take me like sometimes like 6 months. Like I think the first batch of songs I released came out like in 2019. They were I worked on those for like 1.5 years, to release like 3 songs.
Yeah.
And it was just because I'm like I was second guessing every single idea, and just not really knowing where to go from it. And then since then I've kind of learned like, I need to know what I want before I sit down and make it, because that's kind of the that's how I've found it's best for me to get it done, but it's different for everybody, right?
Yeah, like I don't really know where I was going to go with that.
Yeah,
I didn't record anything. Well, I mean, I was recording just loops, but I was kind of stuck in a rut for like the whole majority of COVID and the lockdown and all that. Yeah. So I didn't release anything for like 2-3 years.
Right.
And I just kind of cranked out Drugstore. I mean, I went through a bunch of different variations of it, but then I was like, okay, this is the one. I have to release something. Right? We've got to get it out. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, though. Really like that song. I'm happy the way of how it turned out and all that. Yeah. But I find I need a deadline for things, or else it's not.
Yeah, a deadline and like an intention and like a goal, right? Yeah.
Or else I'm going to be sitting on it for like a year or 2.
Yeah. And it's all about like feeling like you did a good job. Makes it a lot easier when it comes time to like, go to Instagram and be like, time to pre-save my song, guys. It's like, it's a lot easier when you're proud of it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's
the damn algorithm.
Yeah, exactly. Time to make my thing work with a robot. But
yeah,
I'm that's that. Going through that enough times, I'm now to the point where it's like, because a lot of like the the marketing gurus and the people that tell you how to blow up your Spotify numbers and all that, they're always like, yeah, it's like you just got to be putting out singles constantly, singles, and now I'm like, I don't care about any of this. I don't like, because it's exhausting just putting singles out all the time.
It is, because you have to go through the whole promotion thing every month,
and
right?
You're starting over every time, it feels like. At least for me, because I put out like whenever I make like one single, it's like a, it's its own little idea, right? Or and you got to come up with a look for it, or like a video or a lyric video and all this stuff that to go along with it, and it's kind of exhausting when you're starting over with that all the time, and it's magnitudes of effort for very small returns a lot of time, unless you hit it, hit gold.
You make it big off that one, right?
Exactly. But lately I've been finding, and maybe you've found this too, that it's a lot easier to go, okay, well, I'm gonna make an album's worth of stuff or an EP's worth of stuff, and then have that whole box of just like, this is what I need to make, and this is how many songs, and it fills out it feels more like you're scratching an itch, because you've defined what it is you need to do, rather than just kind of rudderlessly paddling.
Stuck in a loop.
Yeah, exactly. Stuck in a loop. Yeah. So yeah, that's awesome. And then in terms of like marketing and whatever, what's your sort of, are you gonna do like is there gonna be an aesthetic attached to what you're doing and all that stuff, or do you have like a brand aesthetic that you're trying to sort of hammer home with people?
I don't really have that planned out at the moment.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
I mean, it's just kind of like that dreamy indie pop kind of sound, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to do the TikTok thing, but I mind you, like everyone is, right?
yeah. And you're trying to, when you don't know what it is, again, it's the same as the music. When you don't know exactly what it is you're trying to do, it's,
yeah. Damn TikTok.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it's working for people, so
it is. Yeah.
Hard to deny it. That's the thing.
That's true. It's just a matter of staying on it and doing it.
Yeah. So you're gonna have your like EP release show. Are you planning to like? Do you have any sort of touring ideas? And
I'd like to do a tour.
Yeah.
It's just the cost behind it. And the planning, all that.
Yeah.
I don't see that for at least a little bit.
Yeah. It's not one of those things where you got to have a bit of a successful break first before you can feel comfortable doing that.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And I'd have to, take like a month and a bit off of work to do that, right?
Yeah. And that's a huge deal when you're in like Vancouver, and you're just like, oh, I'm gonna lose my lease, or somebody's gonna have to take over my room, and then I gotta find a place to live when I get back and all that. You gotta be in a pretty stable place.
Yeah, it's a extra headache that you don't really want to deal with at this moment, right?
Nice. Yeah, exactly. So in terms of what you're okay. So this is a question I ask a lot of people on the podcast. When you find you're listening to music and Spotify gets to the point where, or whatever service you're listening on gets to the point where it's like, it's now you finished your playlist and it's just going to play something random. It'll usually try to play something that it thinks you'll like. I call it the Spotify has given up song. Yeah. What do you think your Spotify has given up song is? The song that you're like, soon as you hear it, Spotify's just trying to like, oh, he likes this, play this.
That's a tough one.
Yeah. Some people know it right away.
I'd say pretty much like any Wallows song.
Oh yeah? Okay.
Right? I think any Wallows song just kind of comes up after my playlist or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah, he'll listen to this, right?
Exactly. They're just trying to like pacify you. They're just trying to be in the background. Yeah. Wallows. All right. Well, that's cool. Yeah, I find that says something about the person. I don't know exactly what yet, but I'm collecting all that data.
We'll find out.
Yeah,
it's processing.
Yeah, I'm collecting all that data to try and reverse engineer everybody's personality, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. So outside of music, what kind of other stuff do you get up to around here?
Work, video games.
Oh yeah, what are you playing right now?
I've literally played League for far too long. I've played that since like grade 7, so
yeah,
that's too many years.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, I golf a bit.
Oh,
that's
cool.
about it.
Yeah. Doing the occasional pitch and putt.
Oh yeah.
My roommate got really into that during the pandemic. He bought clubs and everything, and I don't know if he's been lately, but it was he was just like every day was going down to like Burnaby or the one down by down on like the end of Rupert. There's a pitch and putt course down there.
I can't remember which one that was called.
Yeah. And so he's been, but I don't think he's been doing it now. But that was one of the things where it's like I'm away from people. I'm outside. Like I could go do stuff. That's all I need. I need a hobby.
Yeah, so many people picked that up during COVID.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah, my grandpa tried to get me in. Both actually, my mom's dad and my dad's dad both tried to get me in on golf, and I was just not having it.
It's difficult.
It's way more difficult than you think it is.
Yeah.
It's a lot of like waiting around too, and it's a very it's like. And then once you do a bad shot and it like hooks over somewhere, and it's like, now I gotta go over there.
There goes a $3 ball.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, now it's like now I gotta either go find it or just like walk over or drive over and look for my ball. It's just I found it so unstimulating. But then I guess once you get good at it and you can kind of pinpoint where you want it to go and then just send it there, it's probably very satisfying.
Yeah, it's when you first get into it, it's just terrible. Like you don't want to play it all.
Yeah.
But as soon as you know like roughly where it's gonna land, then you're like, okay, now I'm having a good time.
I like the driving range though. Just going and buying a bucket of balls and just like and then just like every now and then you connect with one, and then the rest of it, it's like you don't have to go get it afterwards. There's some dude who's gonna go pick them up for you. I appreciate that part of it. But
it's also a good stress reliever if you're going to the driving range. Just, whack some balls. There you go.
Yeah, and unless you're like, but the thing is like when you don't get it right, and you like, because like my problem was like I would always hit low, and so it would just like bounce off the ground, and that's like that adds stress, That's
true, yeah.
But then every now and then when you get that like perfect connection and you just slam it off the tee, you're like, all right, I'm a god. Yeah, that's been something I feel bad about. I felt guilty because both my grandfathers wanted to bring me out to like share this thing that they really enjoy, and I'm like, nah, this is horrible.
Yeah, some people just are not into it at all.
I got up at 5 a.m. for this. Yeah.
Yeah, every once in a while I try to drag out my girlfriend, and she does not have a good time. I'm not vibing with the golf life. So kudos to you for sticking through it. Well, that's awesome. I mean, it's been like awesome chatting with you, and I'm stoked to see what the rest of your music looks like with acts 1 and 2. Yep.
And then so what date is your show again?
Well, I've got one coming up August 12th.
Right.
That's at Portside.
Cool.
And then one September 4th, I believe, and then October 14th is the Railway one.
Nice.
So that'll be the big release party.
Awesome. Yeah. Then, so you can follow OlliePop Music if you want to get some more info as to what the songs are going to be like and what the album's going to look like and what they're going to sound like. It's really cool stuff. I highly recommend checking it out.
Thank you.
But dude, it's been great chatting with you. I will.
Hey, great chatting.
I will let you go.
Sounds good.
Have a good one, man. Bye.
See ya.
All right. That's been OlliePop Music. Check it out. And if you want to chat with anybody on the Aridonis podcast, namely me, Aridonis, hit me up. You can hit the links in my bios. There's a link down below if you're digging the podcast, and you can get in touch with me there. Yeah, have a good one.